Hi, everyone. I'm Sapna, and I was asked to speak about the future of creativity and how machine learning will impact advertising. Easy brief. Well, I'm going to do my best to share some of what I've learned in these last few years and also create a call to action for us to really think about what modern marketing will look like. Consumers today want brands to anticipate what they need, and they expect tailored and personalized messaging. At the same time, they're becoming more aware of how data is collected and how it's used to drive relevance. What's important is being intentional and transparent on the types of data that we gather from customers and use this moment to help build trust and reinforce the message that using information can be a value exchange. Data and ML can help brands and advertisers deliver experiences and messaging that demonstrate understanding and empathy towards consumers. By creating tailored experiences for our customers, brands will ultimately build better and more long-lasting connections. Let's take a step back and start with some consumer context. Today, 24% of the global population are millennials, defined as those born between 1981 and 1996. They're approximately 22 to 37 years old. By 2025, just 5 short years from now, 73% of Indians will be millennials or younger. That's significantly higher than the global average of 68%. Let that sink in for a while. Remember, these people grew up with digital. That's all they knew and all they know. They consume media in fundamentally different ways than many of us older and more traditional marketers might do. And this is only going to increase. Media consumption will look very different than what we have known. Well, I guess except for you millennials watching right now, I guess. And so this is going to demand a different approach. What does this mean for brands and advertisers? Well, the good news is that the job to be done is still the same. Good ads must capture attention, and 2, drive action. Now, this is the traditional linear ad recipe that has worked so well for most of us for a very long time. You start with an insight. A really good insight becomes the springboard to an idea. That idea goes through a rigorous production process, and a solid media strategy is then layered on top to create a stellar advert. Well, that recipe has changed dramatically through the advent of the cloud and the machine learning techniques that we now have to make sense of big data. This has materially changed how we think about 3 of those elements. 1, insights, 2, production, and 3, the delivery of media. Let's first start with the most important in my mind, insights. Today, the quality of your insights is highly dependent on 2 things: the quality data that you have access to, and most importantly, your ability to ask the right questions of the data. There's an enormous amount of data crunching to mine through, and there's so much data and process could be prone to errors. But avoid this and a lot more by letting the machine do the data crunching going forward. Because machines can be really good at identifying patterns in our data, telling us what's unexpected, what's off trend, what's out of the ordinary, and really giving us insights. Machines can help us take insights from interesting to insightful. Take this example. This is a standard query looking for cooking. Typically, we deliver a graph that looks at the trend line over time for a specific keyword that looks like this on the bottom. Interesting? Maybe. Insightful? Definitely not. I'm not sure how to action against this, and it's not really giving me a core insight. It gets more interesting when you look at all India cooking queries mapped against time. Now you'll see that there's a spike around when the lockdown began. So again, that's pretty interesting, as it could tell you that this is the best time to run your ads to take advantage of this natural cooking behavior. But I still would not call this particularly insightful. Here is where it gets interesting and insightful. If you segment the queries between baking and cooking, You see similar looking curves signaling interest and intent for both. Now, the trend settles at 1.5 times for cooking and 2.7x for baking. Now, this is insightful. It tells us that we're no longer just looking for sustenance needs, but we're looking to indulge. We're looking to do things in a different way, baking and doing things that are more, interesting for us, and combining cooking and baking, these together tell me that we can action against this in terms of product development, in terms of looking at how we tell our stories through our ads, all of the above. So now let's go to the next area, production and media. Just like machines can help us churn out interesting and insightful insights, they can also help us build great ads. One of the questions we often get is, how can we help minimize production costs, particularly around short form videos? Marketers understand that they should be adapting and optimizing creative assets to the specific features of the platform where they will run. We all know this. But the industry myth is that producing multiple assets in this way is expensive and that it takes a ton of time. But as I've learned in my career and here at Google, is that it doesn't have to be that way. We've put together a team of people tasked with carrying that out and showing how digital first video experiments powered by ML does not need to be difficult. We've found that there's ways to make asset creation faster, cheaper, and more effective. Let me walk you through a quick example here. We started with the display asset on the left for this custom World Cup offer from HDFC Bank. We animated it into a short video ad. Now, this campaign achieved best-in-class ad recall lift and 32% view-through rates that were higher than previous campaigns. The lesson here is that you can use non-video assets to build short-form videos, and that can perform exceptionally well, and it can allow you to really scale things. Let's take a quick look at this.
Score runs on your every spend using HDFC Bank credit card and win a free holiday to England for two. Only few days left. Shop more to score more now.
So you can see there how non-video assets were used to create video assets. Probably something that not every marketer is used to doing, but something that helps us do things with more ease. Another question we often get is, how much personalization does a brand need to reach the diverse array of customers that a big brand has? Well, with Google's Director Mix, create customized videos at scale, swapping out different elements to tailor content to specific audiences. Start with one base video, swap the text, images, or sound, and deliver personalized video ads to your audience. You can completely change the creative at scale and with speed without sacrificing any creative quality. This here was an ad for Cadbury Fuse's new campaign, Don't Go Far for Hunger. As long as we understand targets, we can automate the personalization of an ad by customizing graphics and calls to action rather easily. We have back-end content engines that enable this at scale. When we start running an ad like this, we have hypotheses around which version will perform the best, but don't really know until we get into market. And then we can optimize like crazy to be able to push the best performing ones. Now, this campaign was incredibly successful. Mind you, they had 92,000 versions in market, 92,000, and a 99% reduction in time saved. That's the number I want you to remember, time saved. The ad delivered a 2x increase in ad recall and 3x increase in favorability over previous display campaigns. For every brand, there's a sweet spot where you can optimize between the best targets and the right number of versions to maximize your return on ad spend. Sometimes customization to that extent isn't required, while sometimes it is. And so finding that sweet spot is very important. Now moving on, you asked me, but Sapna, what about the ideas? Aren't the ideas still important? Well, yes. Great ideas will always be effectiveness multipliers, more than ever, because we have the tools and techniques to make the best ideas reach the right customers. And for all of you agency folks out there, don't worry. Machines are not going to be able to deliver what you do so well, such as taking an insight and building a mental leap to a creative idea, or creating a story arc that delivers anticipation or surprise, or just how you build that je ne sais quoi of an emotional connection with your customers. Here's one of my favorites from Fabiquick. I think we can all agree that a machine would have a very hard time coming up with this spot. Let's take a look.
मम्मी देखो मेरा न्यू फोन।
अरे दरवाजा खोल दे, कबाड़ी वाली होगी।
कबाड़ी वाली पर ये सनग्लासेस, इयररिंग, बैग, सैंडल्स ये सब तो मेरे हैं।
है नहीं थे, टूट गए तो तूने तो फेंक दिए
और मैंने चिपका लिए।
ओह नो।
ओ यस।
फेंको नहीं, जोड़ो। फेविक्विक।
That's a great one. And I think it tells us that ideas still are everything. So where do you start? How do you put this into action? This is a question I get all of the time. It's great to know this. It's theory, but what do I do? Well, number one, think about how this new recipe aligns with how you build your ads today and how your team builds ads and how you work with your agency partners. I surmise that this is going to be a leap for many of us, but we're not alone as we move forward. Sort through the data, sort through what you have, identify gaps in our customer understanding, and then look for areas to automate. With those gaps, we set a learning agenda. I can't stress this enough. We need to create a learning agenda, what we want to learn. Then we can share best practices. We can guide you through this, but it takes practice to get it right. And you must ruthlessly prioritize to ensure you learn something new with every campaign you launch. Every campaign. Lean on us and lean on your partners. We can help you on this exciting journey. It doesn't have to be a tough one, and we're all in it together. Modern marketing is here, and it's right around the corner. I wish you all a lot of luck and enjoy the rest of today's sessions. Thank you so much.